Why do traders like trading boom and crash? Now, not only that, they like trading it on the 1 minute time frame using indicators that are always lagging. Listen, if you decide to trade boom and crash not using the strategy that I told you, the 4-hour strategy that is absolutely perfect, that will help you get clearer entries, you don't really need to use indicators. I am going to show you in this video the 1 minute strategy that you can absolutely use to kill boom and crash and catch all of those spikes. Now, this particular strategy is a little bit risky because you're trying to catch spikes, and in general, trading boom and crash is more riskier than trading the Nasdaq US30 because boom and crash is like an algorithm, right? I'm always saying this is an algorithm. Nasdaq US30, you know what's causing this market to move. No one is going to give tariffs on boom and crash and then it's going to start spiking. That's never going to happen, right? But let's not even waste more time. If you're new, find the channel for the first time, welcome. We trade the Nasdaq over here. If you're returning, welcome back. You know what's up. Don't forget to hit that like button, turn your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel. Now, I want you guys to use this particular strategy if you're trying to scalp, if you're trying to get a quick $100 without really sitting for too long on the chart. So we're going to be starting with a $92 account. As you can see, someone asked me to do a boom and crash video with a $10 account. I really don't know how to trade small accounts. I mean, as a trader, you should know how to trade any sized account, but I just don't know. When I try and trade a $20, a $10 account, I always blow it, right? I just don't know how to get that sniper entry, that doesn't give me a little bit of drawdown and ends up blowing the account. And if I do get that, then I'm making profit of like 5 cents or 30 cents. That's going to take me like 4 years to eventually grow that account. So you already know what's up. We're going to be trading boom and crash on the phone. I'm going to have my chart running right over here, as you can see right now. What happened is I actually started trading this account on, I don't know what day it was, and then it took me a couple of days to grow this account because it's just $92. And it's actually very interesting to see how much I made on this account. Comment down below how much you actually think I made from this $92. You'll be really surprised at the end when you see how much is actually going to be in this account as soon as this video is about to end. Now, let's go over onto the chart. So what you always want to do when you're trading boom and crash is to always make sure that you know the overall trend. Right now, as you can see what we're having here on crash 300, I just saw this particular trade and I decided to take it. Why? I'll explain now. I'm taking a sell, as you can see, and then my stop loss is going to be $12 on this particular trade. Right now, let me explain. I took 3 trades on that. We're going to let it run and run. You can see it has already spiked right at that level, right? And there we go. We already had a second spike in just a few seconds, and I've already made $32 right now. Let's rewind just a little bit. Now, as you can see, I was already ready to take the next trade, but let's just rewind for a little bit so I can explain to you guys what I was actually looking at. You can see these 2 belt candles that we have right here. One candle that drops like that with a spike, and then another spike right after without any tick in between. That is what the strategy is all about. When you see that, you want to know that another spike is coming. You don't have to have an indicator to actually just use this. Now, that's exactly why I took the trade. The next spike that should come, the next spike that should give you profit should be lower than the spike that actually connected the first spike. Yes, that's a lot, but it's not. Actually very simple. So as you can see, it's the second spike. I took the trade because we had the first spike, it hadn't really gotten below that spike that caused the spike. But then we have this second one here. It's now gotten to the exact same level. But as you can see what just happened, I'm adding another trade here because we have 2 spikes, right? You can see we have one little spike and we have a whole nother spike. There's no a little tick in between there. I added a few more trades, as you can see. So whilst I was trying to look at the overall picture on the 30-minute time frame, you can clearly see that it just actually spiked. I was trying to see where my take profit level is going to be. It then spiked and I was sitting up $51. When did I start recording this? When did I actually start recording this? 1906, and then at 1909 I was already up $51. This is why people like trading boom and crash. You can clearly see that in just 3 minutes I've made $51 by just using that simple strategy. Anyone who's trading Nasdaq, I mean, if you're not increasing those lot sizes, try it. Go and sit on the chart and make $51 in 3 minutes, trading the 1 minute time frame. Well, it's possible. I mean, there are people with strategies like that out there, so it's possible. So I decided to close all my trades here. I was already up $142, as you can see. And the reason why I exited this trade is we had a little trend line that's forming right at that level. But after a few hours, you can clearly see that it then eventually spiked again. It broke that trend line. All of those people that were trying to trade those ticks, you know, trying to catch those ticks at the trend line would have been taken out. That's always what happens on boom and crash. That's why, you know, you don't really make profit there. And as you can see also at the same time, that spike formed that belt that I'm always talking about, and then I entered the trade. We had a belt here, and this is a perfect example of when it actually doesn't work. You can clearly see we had a belt there, and then first the market went up, gave us a belt, and then dropped, and gave us another belt right there, and then it didn't actually spike. You can see on this case we would have taken a loss, and then we have another belt that's forming there. Fortunately enough, I wasn't looking at the trade. I'd have taken a loss if I was looking at the charts on this level, right? So I just took my trades right there and let it run, boom, just like that. And you see it did spike. We're sitting at $8 in profit, and that's it. I had to let it run again because I was expecting a little spike again at this level. I don't know for what reason, but it didn't spike, and I ended up having to close these trades, and that reduced. Instead of taking profit, that's what happens sometimes. You want to crave for more, you end up losing the trade. And in just a few minutes we saw another spike again. As you can see, those two little belts that I'm always talking about, I took a sell at this level. You can see that the market immediately just spiked. It didn't even waste any more time, and I made $23 just like that. This was how many minutes? In 2 minutes. $23 in 2 minutes, as you can see right over here. Obviously it spiked with another little belt. So these belts can come in two forms. We have one that is just this belt, that belt, nothing in between, and then we have one that is this belt and then a little tick in between, and then another belt. The example is here. When I saw this, I decided to add more positions because I thought it was going to spike again. We let it run, it did actually spike again, but you can clearly see what kind of belt it used to spike. At this level I was sitting up $65. Guys, if anyone is trading boom and crash, they will not believe that you're actually able to make this type of money when you're trading here, but you're also able to lose this exact type of money if you're trading these things and you're not really careful. So we're up $62 at this level, and it formed another belt. You obviously know what I'm already going to do at this level. I decided to add 2 more positions, and unfortunately enough for me, it did not spike at that level in time for me to actually, you know what, close the trade or have another spike, a series of spike. It didn't. It went up to the top, and I held it. I wanted to see what this candle will close as, right? You see this candle that's forming. If it closed, I would expect it to spike again, right? But it didn't. I waited for 1 minute, and it forms a little tick that told me it's not going to spike. So I had to close the trades with now $18 instead of how much was that? That was like what, 60 something. I had to close with now $18, but it's okay. I never had $18 when I started trading. So that was our account right now at $155, and I had to sleep. You can clearly see it was around 1 a.m. at the moment, and then the next day actually took the next day. And if you notice from the time I drew that little trend line till right now, just look at how many spikes or how the market sold off and just kept dropping. Now if you're trading with the 4-hour strategy, you would have caught this whole movement, right? You would have caught those whole series of spikes because you have a more clearer entry. You're seeing these things on a bigger time frame. You understand what's happening. You don't have to keep looking at the charts, you know, back and forth. You would actually make more sense trading on a larger time frame. It's less riskier also. So that's about it. I was now looking for another trade. You can see we also even have a little trend line. So I was saying that I would expect this market to sell down to the trend line to complete that leg that it has at the trend line. And as sure as anything, I waited the whole day, and then the next day, that was like totally the next day at around 12 o'clock, you can clearly see it dropped down to that little leg. It touched the trend line. Now the buyers have stepped into the market, as you can clearly see right over here. But all those that don't like to follow this is a good buy. This market will then eventually go up to the top. In fact, if you had caught it right at the trend line, you'd have actually taken a really nice trend line rejection trade and rolled it up to the top. But as you can see right now there, we also have another trend line, a breakout and a retest there that is really nice. You could have added positions to that level, but let's just go to what everyone likes. So my favorite chart to trade on boom and crash is Crash 300. It always respects this type of strategy, but because I was not having enough trades, I decided to add more trades onto this account so I can see. As you can see, the first one where we saw the little belt forming was on boom 500. You can see exactly what I was explaining, and what I want to do is to always check how much I'm losing before I actually take the trade. In this case it was $5, so I had to increase the lot size to make it, you know, 1, so I can lose at least $10. I was losing $10 per trade on every trade that is going to be running. Took 5 trades and let it just run. As you can see, just as sure as anything, it just spiked. How much do you have? $21. Very simple, guys. Obviously I went on ahead and closed all of my trades just like that on this one, and then I went ahead to look for more trades. As you can see, I saw it on Crash 900. That is so weird. Back then when I used to trade it never had anything called Crash 900, but obviously I want to look at the overall picture first. As you can see, it's on an uptrend, so going against the trend is totally ridiculous, but we're trying to catch spikes, what everyone likes, right? It's very risky, but if you're trying to make, let's see if this will actually work. As you can see, we have a series of spikes right now. If we had caught the trade here, would have totally got into the trade, spiked. You can see that right there, and then right now it has formed this little belt. If we had saw it at this level, we would have taken this one and it would spiked with us. But right there, I don't know if I want to consider that as, no, I won't consider that as a little, you know, spike, because it has 2 candles, right? Let's just see how much we made for the day. For this day, we've made already $83 for just one single day, right? And I then found a nice trade also on Boom 500. You can already see the reason. I entered 5 trades and I'm risking $10 per trade. As you can see, we had a spike and then a little bout. Ooh, I wasn't even finished talking and it just spiked again just like that, and we're up $9, almost $10, right? So we're gonna go on ahead and close that. You can totally do this the whole time, right? So as you can see, Boom 900 presented another opportunity right there, and here I was now risking $18. That's a lot, so I had to reduce the lot size to $10. I'm willing to lose $10 per trade. I'll always stick to that. That's exactly what I did. Also saw a nice opportunity at the same time on Crash 600. These names are so weird because of the belts. You can clearly see that my stop loss was $10. I entered the trade, and as sure as anything, we had our first spike, but this time around it was a tiny little spike, and you just have to take it because you don't know what kind of spike is going to come. So I closed on those little cents, and in this moment I had to let this trade run, which it did, and eventually went. That's exactly where you place your stop loss. Your stop loss is always placed at the top of the first little bout that causes the first spike. That's where your stop loss should always be. And that's exactly what happened, and the $10 that I was willing to risk has just been met, and I had to close this trade. Went back to $150, and that wiped out all my profit. Remember what I was saying, right? Absolutely no risk management here when you're trading this spike, because you don't even know what kind of spike is going to come next, right? You're just going to just take a little tiny little spike or a really big little spike. But that's it. We had to go back to zero for the day, and I eventually then saw a nice trade again on Boom 900. Took the trades. As you can see, calculated my stop losses was $3, so I had to increase more positions here. I could lose more, and then that's exactly what I did. It gave me a nice little spike, which gave me $90, just $90 with one trade. As you can see, our account was up back again at $244. Obviously I had to close the trades, as you can see right here, and with that we had made like $150 for the entire week, and for the entire day you see we had made back the $88 that we once lost in the morning, right? And that was about it. I then decided to take another trade again on Crash 300, as you can see here. So I just took the trade immediately. As I took it, I didn't even start explaining, it just spiked again, giving me a nice $72. Absolutely beautiful, as you can see right here. And when it did that, it spiked with a little bout again, but this time I don't want to risk it. And then that's what I thought, right? I closed the trade. I thought that I'm not adding positions. Then yeah, I had made $156 for the day. I was like, let me just leave this, but then I was like, nah, let me go back again and take the trade, because it's actually about, I should respect that, right? So I went in and I took the trade, and yeah, as you can see, it started to go up, threatening me a little bit. It went up. I put my stop loss right there, and then yeah, as soon as I was about to go and hit my stop loss, I was like, it's about to hit my stop loss for real. It then just spiked, as you can see, give me a nice $28. So at this point I did close the trades, and you can see that we made $178 for this particular trade. And then I was still looking for trades, even though it was late at night, and then I did see these long spikes on Boom 1000, and then the stop loss would be $41, which was totally ridiculous. I couldn't take the trade. On Boom 300, the stop loss again would have been so ridiculous. The trade was good, but then the stop loss would have been really ridiculous. It would be around $30 or $21, whichever we'd want to call it. So I did end up just looking over those trades. I didn't take them. And the next day I did see good setups on Crash 300, as you can see. Took in this trade for the very same reasons I've been explaining, and the stop loss here was kind of crazy though. You can see it's $19, you know, at that level there. So I didn't want to really, you know, take a lot of risk in this level. So it spiked down with a little small spike, but then as soon as I was checking the balance, it did spike again. As you can see, the spike was quite bigger now, and I had made like $40, $39 at that level, and I just had to close the trades right over here. Our account was sitting at $370. Woo! I am so exhausted by just explaining these trades. Okay, so then this was now the interesting part, right? You will not believe how much I actually made with this last particular trade, right? As you can see right here. So it was on Boom 900, I saw a good little spike. But look at the time. Look at the time I was trading this. It's like around almost 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And I don't know what I woke up to do, but I saw a good spike. I took the trades. I was like, okay, I'll keep my eyes open. It's gonna spike. And then I was risking like $12 per trade. I was like, okay, let me just take these trades. And I went on with full risk because the account was quite larger at this time. And I was like, let me just take the trade. And as sure as anything, we had the first spike. Anyone would think that I was awake, right? To actually close the trades. Nope. I was totally gone. I was in la la land. As you can see here, the price went back to my entry point and it spiked again with a little tiny spike, but boom, it spiked again like this with even a larger spike and another spike at that. I was so fast asleep. I didn't see all of this. As you can see, it's already 4:40, almost like 1 hour later. The price dropped, spiked again. At this point, I would have even taken another trade at that level there where you see that little double spike. And if I was awake, it would have given me more profit, as you can see there. But I slept and slept and slept and slept. It's so painful when I was editing this video and I saw that I was sleeping and this trade was in profit like this. It even got to a point where I couldn't see the trades, right? The screen shifted until, it had gone up like that. And then it then eventually came back down, as you can see here. And then it went back to break even. Imagine all that profit. I think I was already in $400, $500 profit. Just profit. So the account would have been at $800, but I don't know that, right? Because I was fast asleep. Oh, bro. You see, it kept moving and it was in loss. And this is around 7:30 now. Almost 7:30. And that's exactly when I woke up. Totally crazy. You can see that. Then the screen started to move. I woke up at this point and I caught a shock. I was like, what is going on? You can see. And then my account was like minus $224. All of that work that we had done for days just down the drain because I wanted to sleep. I don't even know why I was trading at 3 a.m. in the first place, honestly. But you know what I had to do? I just could not keep looking at that. I had to close the trades, which I absolutely did. And that brought me back to $143 on this account that I started with $92. How ridiculous can that get? But strategy absolutely good. You can see that there was potential for the account to get to maybe $1,000. But this is the reality of trading. So at this point, I lost total motivation to keep trading. And I was just like, nah, I won't trade again. I'll just make the video the way it is. And that's it, guys. Now, if you found it helpful, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, turn your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel. You follow me with ISBTino, and I'll see you in the next little video. Love you guys.